Hey everybody, it's the Red. Let's play a game, shall we? I'm here with Tyranny. This is a game I've been wanting to try out for quite a while now. I wanted to do it in a video, even though the game has been out for, a little while now. It sounds like an interesting premise from what I've read. I don't know much about the game. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right on and see how this goes, I guess. I don't know if I'm gonna make this into a full series or not. We'll see.
For over 400 years,
The paper clouds reigned.
the armies of Kairos the Overlord have swept across the known world. All who stood against them fell before their might.
Bunch of bitches.
Even the Archons, women and men of immense power, were forced to kneel, chained to the Overlord's will.
Kinky.
Now Kairos' final conquest has come to our corner of the world, and two of the Overlord's armies compete for the honor of taking our lands. The elite disfavored, and the teeming horde of the Scarlet Chorus. The voices of Nerat, spymaster and Archon of secrets, guides the fierce and undisciplined masses of the Scarlet Chorus. With each battle, the Scarlet Chorus grows stronger, as the defeated are given a simple choice: serve or die. Graven Ash, Archon of War and the Overlord's most loyal general, leads the disfavored. Though small in number, Kairos' ironclad legion has never met true defeat in open battle. Watching over the two generals is Tyranny, the Adjudicator, Archon of Justice, eldest of Kairos' minions. Tyranny brings Kairos' laws to newly conquered lands, aided by the Fatebinders, judges and executioners of the Overlord's laws. You were among the youngest of the court of Fatebinders when Kairos' armies came to our lands. How could we have known that the fate of thousands would rest in your hands?
Wow, the Fates really fucked up with that one, didn't they? Oh god. Okay, so I cut all the boring shit where I just sat there and thought for a while about the character, their appearance, what kind of skills I wanted to go for, weapons, etc. And just sort of make it all sort of make sense in my head. Basically, my character's name is Joramatol, and primary weapon is going to be two-handed weapons with a secondary in dual wielding. And I'm going to go for the conquest start because that sounds more interesting than jumping in. So, plus I haven't played before, so I kind of want to see this regardless.
All the world has fallen to Kairos, and now the Overlord's eye is on the Tears, our home. The last corner of the world free of Kairos' reign.
Not for bloody long.
Two armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, march south from the Northern Empire, the last realm to fall to Kairos a century prior.
Okay.
In the early days of 428, Kairos' armies arrive at the Gates of Judgment, the mountainous border that we Tearsmen so long believed unassailable. Unable to agree on a unified plan of defense, the various leaders of the Tears sit and wait for each other to deal with the conquerors, until it's too late.
Oh yeah, great idea, boys. During the conquest, you'll decide your character's actions during Kairos' invasion of the Tears, shaping the world through which you will adventure over the course of the game. Each choice you make affects your character and how major factions of the Tears respond to you. Your decisions matter. Choose wisely. I will not. 428, you're one of Kairos' conquest. Oh, hello. That's a neat animation. The Bastard City. The Bastard City stood on the northern border between Kairos' empire and the Tears. Built upon a natural harbor at the crossroad between realms, the city was a nexus of commerce. To the Tears, it was a center of all wealth. To a northerner, it was little more than a backwater trading post. Its symbolic status as a gateway to the continent made it a natural first target in Kairos' military conquest. Circumstances were ideal for you to prove your worth as a soldier in Kairos' armies. Armies, plural. Taking this city would send a message to the rest of the tiers. Kairos' will is insurmountable. Yes, well. Oh. What? Infiltrate the tiers. Both armies sent their forces. Oh, infiltrate. First major engagement. War. Okay. That's great. Okay. Oh boy. The armies of Kairos took the battle to the Gates of Judgment, trumpeting the opening call of the conquest of the tiers. The two armies, it is favored in the Scarlet Chorus, brought their distinctive sense of order and chaos to the assault. You went to battle alongside the army whose approach best suited your strengths. Shit. Well, disfavored is, you know, they're an elite unit, as opposed to the Scarlet Chorus, who are the Horde. I mean, I could see my character going either way, really. Somehow Chaos just sounds more fun, though. You rush the Catic mass of the Scarlet Chorus, flanking the Bastard City's army and Northern Fleet. As opposed to standing shield to shield to Kairos' ironclad elite, you advance in the mercenary army perched for the nobles of the Bastard City. The Legion wanted to send a message to tiers that superior breeding and discipline training would win the day. Nope. Chaotic masses. You caught the mercenary army unprepared for the mania and disorder of the Scarlet Chorus. Your forces overwhelmed the tiers' defenses in a few short hours, hacking and burning their way into the continent. Any mercenaries who survived the battle found themselves initiated into the Scarlet Chorus, tortured by ruthless interrogators, or made the sport of competition as the army marched ruthlessly forward. Feeding the host. Evaluate if Kairos' army's enemy territory. Oh, okay. Well, this sounds more like my kind of job, technically speaking. But this would put me in better... Oh, I would assume it would put me more in favor of the troops. But if I skimp this, I'm assuming maybe like the higher echelons wouldn't be happy that I didn't do my job. I'm assuming that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, technically speaking. To judge the enemy, decide the fate of any soldiers, or find a way to feed the armies. Okay, let's see, against the most optimistic projection, the disfavored in the Scarlet Chorus made short work of the local defenses. They did so well, the armies quickly outpaced their supply caravans. Troops were plentiful, but food was scarce. You only had time to execute one plan to secure provisions. As opposed to... the soldiers of the tiers fell by the hundreds, and Kairos' armies could not agree on how to handle what few survivors they dragged back to camp. Befitting your role, the commanders turned to you to decide the fate of those who occupied the prison pens. There were only enough prisoners to support the plan of a single army. Conscript or enslave. You give the prisoners a chance to serve in Kairos' army or die. Scarlet Chorus was in need of extra troops to fill up the vanguard, and your former enemies would occupy those slots nicely. Or the disfavored needed slaves to haul their gear, dig the latrines, and keep their pallets warm at night. Oh. So you just need servants. Contend the survivors of the battle to their subservient role among among Grave and Ash's noble troops. As opposed to... You authorize Scarlet Chorus to send their horde out to pillage from farms and villages, spreading the infantry Kairos army, prepare for the tiers, okay. Or, to confiscate food supplies from traveling merchant caravans. The Tyr's already spent ignorant centuries letting themselves out of Kyros's laws. I want to go with this, I think, actually. And, get some more soldiers for the Horde. More blood for the Blood God, bodies for the graves. You armed cooperative ex-soldiers scrap weapons and toss them into the vanguard of the next Scarlet Chorus assault. Those who survived were welcome to take up the arms and armor of the fallen and eke out a desperate struggle to survive in Kyros's military. Earn your place or die. After their first victory, he awarded the new recruits the opportunity to execute their wounded or reluctant countrymen. That's beautiful. Taking the Bastard City. The armies of Kairos amassed around the Bastard City, the first bastion of the Tiers to fall. Both armies longed to storm the walled outpost. The Scarlet Chorus howling for plunder and the disfavored forming an unbreakable shield wall. Your prowess on the field of battle had carried them this far, but there was one more step before total victory. Both the armies had inspired schemes to take the Bastard City. Which did you support? Ooh, okay. So we can sabotage the city's defenses. Mixed band of both. Concealing shadows. Yeah, I really don't think that'll fit my character that much. So far they're not very sneaky, and that wasn't my intention to make a sneaky character. Scarlet Chorus is setting fire to the city, blocking the gates. They would surrender or burn. Searing Palm. 8 to 15 fire damage versus magic. Gather heated energy into your hands and release it onto a foe. Target ignites in flames, burning over time. Ooh. And the disfavored. In Vanguard, a direct assault on the city gates. No fortification would stand against the unstoppable legion. Warriors Respite. 1 per encounter. Okay, minus 50% damage for 12 seconds, plus 15% health every 3 seconds for 12. Okay. Stand your ground in the face of defeat. During this time, you will regenerate health rapidly, but your damage is significantly reduced. Okay, yeah. So I do 50% less damage. That's not receive 50%. I do 50% less damage, but I regain 15% health every 3 seconds for 12 seconds. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to give my character any magical abilities. I mean, that might be useful as like a secondary thing, but I was seeing them as primarily melee. I think I'll go with this, because this might be useful if I'm going to be going in, you know, front on anyway, as a very melee heavy character. It might be worth the trade-off to temporarily, you know, have my damage to regenerate some health, you know. Maybe let someone else take the heat, assuming I get followers in this game. I don't know. Yeah, so we're going to do with the disfavored this time. For once. With heroic courage and legendary determination, the disfavored battered the gates of the Bastard City to splinters. Those who fell into the consistent halo of arrows or cascades of boiling pitch left the battlefield temporarily, only to appear hours later as Archon Graven Ash's protection healed their numerous wounds. In time, the gates gave way and Kairos' forces spilled inside the city walls, resounding cheers of victory. Murder, mayhem, death, and doom. Okay. The Bastard City settled into a new state of normalcy, with every tower displaying Kairos' banner. Your name was whispered alongside rumors of a decorated career to come. The armies divided into 2 fronts and migrated south. Tunon sent word that you were to join the next frontier of Kairos' conquest, either as judge and overseer of the settlements of Lethian's Crossing, or as a war advisor with the armies advancing into the realms of Apex. Okay. So, Lethian's Crossing. Deposits of iron made the settlement of Lethian's Crossing a strategic war asset. Kairos sent the forge-bound smith mages of exceptional skill to establish a flow of weaponry. Tunon the Adjudicator sent one of his Fatebinders to ensure the enforcement of Kairos' law. Or, the troops of the mountain realm of Apex stood idle in the safety of their valley, biding their time as their neighbors in the Bastard Tier fell. In the second year of the war, a joint force of the disfavored and Scarlet Chorus crossed over the mountains to take control of the Tier's central valley. I think I like the sound of that. I think my character would be a little more action-oriented as we've seen, well, while not averse to doing their job, I think she would probably prefer just outright bloodshed more than anything. So, yay. Killing people is so much easier than having to, talk them down. Politics and all. Year 2 of Kairos' conquest. Okay, Apex. The mountain native nation of Apex, ruled for generations with the queens of House Vendrian, stood at the heart of the Tiers. No army could bypass the landlocked realm without leaving their flank exposed to attack. By the second year of the war, the disfavored and Scarlet Chorus had pushed deep into the Tiers. Elements of both armies were dispatched to conquer Apex. Tunon assigned you to accompany them, tasked with bringing Kairos' law into the territory, as well as keeping an eye on both armies. Yeah, that also would probably be an important note. Keep them from destroying each other. Right. The Battle of Edgering... Wait. The Battle of Edgering passed. The Arcane of Stone's assault was perhaps too successful. Or... Denial of Strength. A new school of mages presented problems and opportunities. Problems and opportunities. Interesting. I think we're just going for a strict battle here. Okay. The Battle of Edgering passed. The disfavored sent their most destructive ally to crush Edgering Fort. Cairn, Archon of Stone, buried the stronghold under an avalanche triggered from the surrounding mountains. The Scarlet Chorus were promised captured enemies for recruitment, yet none survived the onslaught. The Chorus demand compensation. Oh boy. So either I congratulate the disfavored for taking the pass without risking the lives of Kairos' loyal servants. At this stage of the campaign, it was vital to use any advantage that would mitigate ally losses, or you upheld the Scarlet Chorus' claim and demanded the youngest disfavored scouts join the chorus to settle the debt. Huh. Well, I mean, yeah, sure, they were promised captured enemies, but that doesn't mean that there has to be captured enemies. It just means if there are, then you can have them. But there weren't. Good for you. Who? Ha! Ha! The Scarlet Chorus claims were insignificant compared to the lossless victory. You congratulated the disfavored and encouraged the Scarlet Chorus to better value their soldiers' lives, a suggestion that gang bosses took worse than the original offense. Vowing to remember this, the sighted army returned to camp to sulk, if not lick their wounds. That's probably not going to do me many favors. Okay. The marriage bid armistice. The Tiers created armies, or what are the fallen? Scarlet Chorus soldiers were found wearing disfavored armor. Oh boy. So both of these sound very political. Okay, so what's this one? The enemy readied for a peacetime festival as Kairos' forces armed for battle. The disfavored paid no mind to the southern custom, and planned to attack the Vendrian forces during their annual celebration. The Scarlet Chorus insisted on a day of non-violence. As former Tiersmen, many could grasp the decency of a temporary reprieve. Interesting. Okay, so one actually wants to not stop, but just pause for a moment. Yeah, that sounds like, a surprisingly honorable thing to do from the chorus, compared to what they've been doing. So the disfavored commander and pay no homage to the bygone custom, and holding a cultural pastime and slaughtering your way through non-combat. No. I don't even think my character would be too pleased about just... There's no sport there. It's not even about honor. It's just like, why? Why waste your time slaughtering people who aren't going to fight back? It's a waste of time, if not a waste of life. Or you offer the locals the last feast, sending a few Scarlet Chorus agents into the mix in good faith. The army hoped that the gesture would foster an air of partnership for the occupation to come, which is a smart move. Okay, now what about this one? Scarlet Chorus soldiers were seen wearing disfavored gear, supposedly taken from those who fell in battle. The disfavored were outraged, citing tradition that their armor passed only to the next of kin within the army. In a debate of tradition versus practicality, you had to rule in favor of one army over another, right? Well, the disfavored traditions then punished those wearing the Legion's iron. The army had come to deliver Kairos' peace, which came with a higher standard, true. Or you denied the Disfavored's complaint as the demands of war rendered such vain customs irrelevant. Lacking in suitable armor, the Scarlet Chorus would retain what they collected. Either way, okay, so either way, both of these debates are about customs and whether or not we're going to uphold one or another. I actually kind of like this one. I see my character as being a little more, not necessarily all bloodshed minded. She'd have some degree of understanding of how to manipulate people or how to worm her way out of certain situations. At least that's what I'm kind of. That's the image that I'm constructing in my mind. That's what narrative there. So, I'm gonna offer the locals the last feast and send in some Scarlet Chorus agents into the mix. Okay. Yay! Oh, right. The festivities went off as expected, and the Scarlet Chorus recruits you sent to enjoy themselves reported little animosity among the revelers. The Disfavored protested at your ruling as too merciful and waged an all-night training drills to combat the sound of celebration with an anthem of swords and shields. You sent forces to attack the following day, a battle from which the Disfavored recused themselves out of protest. Okay, really? So first off, you're gonna act infantile and sit back and be like, "We don't hear no happiness. There ain't gonna be no celebration. We don't like fun." And then the next day, just to be even more bitches, even bigger bitches, you sit back and don't help. Wow. The fall of Apex. With the defeat of Apex and inevitability, the armies of Kairos met to discuss how to put an end to the stage of the conquest. Both armies agreed to send an offer of parley. Along with their acceptance, the enemy requested that you appear at the meeting. Word of your fair dealings had apparently spread to their ranks. How did you orchestrate the surrender of the realm of Apex? Okay. Through days of mediation, you negotiated the surrender of the valley to Kairos' forces, putting an end to further bloodshed. Or, taunting the Queen of Apex into striking you under a banner of truce, you baited the Queen of Apex into duel and slew her, frightening her vassals into submission. Ooh. Ooh. I like the underhandedness of this one. Taunt the queen into attacking me, and then kill her, and then scare her those underneath her into doing what I want. That's very it's very twisted, but I like it. I like the sentiment there. But at the same time, that seems out of line with how I've been kind of going. But I mean, at the same time, if you could also logic that leaving the queen alive may have repercussions in the future as to maintaining Kairos' hold over the land. But we started this campaign out without having to wipe out any more of our forces, and true, this would be just me killing the queen. But this may also make things easier in the future as well, assuming people remember this. I don't know, but I'm gonna risk this. I think at this time, your former enemies were loath to part with their lands, but they were even more reluctant to continue a war they were losing at every turn. The Tearsmen are a stubborn lot. Despite their grim situation, it still took days of discussion and diplomacy to show them the madness of tenacity. On the third day of mediation, the rulers of Apex finally submit to your terms of surrender, putting an end to the war in the valley, and freeing up Kairos' forces to march deeper into the Tears. Okay. I clicked. Oh, I broke the little piece. Oh. Okay. The land of Apex finally rested in the hands of Kairos' forces. The Scarlet Chorus paused to revel in victory while the Disfavored prepared for the next fight, affording themselves but an evening's rest. Kairos' armies radiated out from the conquered citadel and worked their way across the Tears. The disfavored and Scarlet Chorus aim to dominate as much territory as possible in the coming year. Your distinguished reputation in Kairos' military left the choice of your next destination yours to make. Okay, so Stalwart. With its easily defended position and rich military tradition, the realm of Stalwart was the most formidable realm in the tiers. Azure. Kairos dispatched the Archon of Stone to subjugate the nation of Azure, okay, or the Vellum Citadel. Kairos' conquering gaze fell upon the Vellum Citadel, its treasures, its knowledge, and its secrets. Okay, well, treasures, sure, but knowledge and secrets sound a bit more like a magey route, I don't know. I'm really, these are the two that I'm torn between, Stalwart or Azure. Archon of Stone, right, well, last time he buried an army, or, the most formidable realm of the tiers. Sure. What could go wrong? 430 TR, year 3 of Kairos' conquest.
Here's the piece.
Thank you, Jobs. The realm of Stalwart was best known for its proud army, disciplined, courageous, and undefeated on their home soil. Skill and resolve made Stalwart a military power that Kairos' forces approached with due caution. With its southern position, Stalwart had been largely safe from war, watching for 2 years as its neighbors fell to Kairos' forces. On the dawn of the third year of the war, Kairos' forces were finally poised to invade the Stalwart Peninsula and subdue the tier's most vaunted army. Okay. Right, so, marching on empty. Tragedy struck when hungry Scarlet Chorus soldiers appropriated disfavored supplies. Oh, great. Or, a contentious setback. A stinging defeat led to accusations among Kairos' armies. Okay, so great. Both of them are going to be problems. Okay, so what's this one? The Stalwart defenders burned their crops they retreated. Oh, okay, scorched earth, fine. Leaving the invaders little to forage. Starving, the Scarlet Chorus mob raided from the disfavored's well-maintained supply lines, incurring casualties on both sides. You ordered the thieving Scarlet Chorus soldiers to be spiked for their affront. That makes sense. By your command, the disfavored shared the provision. Thieves each lost a hand for their treachery. It's a little bit more merciful. But also kind of makes sense. Even if it is kind of punishing the disfavored slightly. Okay, what's this? After defeat at the hand of the enemy defenders, the Scarlet Chorus accused the disfavored of recklessness. The Scarlet Chorus is accusing the disfavored of being reckless. The disfavored claimed the Scarlet Chorus brought too few soldiers to cover their flanks. Both armies refused to march until he gave a ruling. Okay. Knowing the disfavored reputation for discipline, as well as the Scarlet Chorus's powers to instill fear and frenzy, you decided the Scarlet Chorus was in the wrong. Lacking proof the Scarlet Chorus recruits were negligent, you punished the disfavored commander for his failure, for bringing charges without evidence. Okay. Neither of these are simple choices. Which I'm not complaining about. I'm just stating the basis here. Okay. You know what? I think we'll go with this, and I'm gonna just flat out spike the Scarlet Chorus members because they actually attacked a friendly army, incurring casualties on both sides. They attacked their own people. That's You have to put the hammer down on that. You don't no. If you have a fucking problem, you bring it to me, and maybe I would have actually had the disfavored split supply lines with you, shared their supplies with you. You don't go and attack your fucking allies like a goddamn idiot. No. You just... Even in time of war, there was no excuse for allied armies to battle each other in violation of Kairos' peace. The disfavored rightly argued they only had enough supplies to feed their troops. The Scarlet Chorus needed to better look after their own people. Agreeing with their assessment, you had the offenders staked outside of the Scarlet Chorus camp, left to send the message that hunger was no shield from justice. Amen. Butch. Oh, my neck. Okay. Right. Beast of Stalwart. New Scarlet Chorus tactic provoked disfavored rage. Oh, God. Better dead than red. A string of mass suicides led to the Scarlet Chorus's making demand to the disfavored. What? Rather than submit to the Scarlet Chorus conscription, okay, conquered locals began committing suicide. Desperate to add more bodies to the horde, the Scarlet Chorus demanded a portion of disfavored prisoners. The disfavored denied the right of recruitment as the realm's population had taken a steep decline. But are you just gonna use the prisoners as like slaves anyway? You don't fucking need those. You already have plenty to begin with. The more you should be a little more independent than that. Okay, what's this one? Scarlet Corps mages discovered a spell to turn beastmen slaves against their handlers. The army prepared to deploy this tactic elsewhere, but the disfavored protested. The use of unsanctioned magical practices ran contrary to Kyros's law, and beastmen were considered too erratic to be relied upon, even as shock troops. Okay. Disfavored argument and ordered the beastmen slain. The Scarlet Corps mages discovered the trick, were ordered to never use it again on pain of execution. Or, you heard the Scarlet Corps' new innovation and ruled the technique of an acceptable use of wartime magic. So bending the rules a lot there. As opposed to, you banned the Scarlet Corps from recruiting in the realm of Stalwart, going so far as notifying the locals to assuage their fears. You refused the disfavored's request and allowed the Scarlet Chorus to continue recruitment. Additionally, you ordered that disfavored camp slaves be given to the chorus to make up for the losses suffered. This could hurt their numbers. Definitely would piss them off. And well, this would obviously piss off the disfavored. Just taking the slaves. It's labor. Labor and, what's the quote-unquote term? Comfort? Yeah, that's it. Their labor and their comfort sources. I mean, really, they shouldn't be that. They should rely less on slaves to perform the labor to maintain their camps and so on. Though that's a slippery slope to climb down. The more you rely on that kind of labor force, once it vanishes, the people who needed it are not going to fare well. So, I guess you could say that I'm trying to teach you disfavored discipline. Sure. There was no need to coddle the Tearsmen. If Stalwart lacked in peasants who worked their fields, and families would be relocated from other parts of Kyros's empire, the details weren't important. All that mattered was bringing the war to a close and a decisive victory at any cost. To recompense the Scarlet Chorus their losses and to punish the disfavored for their short-sightedness, you ordered a escort of slaves conscripted into the ranks of Kyros's military. The disfavored didn't appreciate losing good haulers to the Scarlet Chorus, but you argue that no one was telling them how to conduct their war. The Edict of Storms. Okay, the disfavored carved a slow, steady path into the heart of Stalwart and surrounded the enemy's massive fortress. With the main bulk of their forces defeated, the enemy leadership retreated to their mighty fortress, content to wait out the war. The Overlord answered this impudence with an Edict of Storms on the peninsula, a devastating spell that would endure for as long as the cowardly hearts of Stalwart's leaders persisted in beating. Pleased by your efforts, Tinon deemed you the proper representative to deliver Kyros's edict. Aside from being given a 3-day window to read the edict, you received no other instructions. Oh. Okay. Agreeing with the wishes of the disfavored, you proclaimed the edict at once, leaving the enemy no time to react. Stalwart had ample opportunity to surrender for several years. The time for mercy was long gone. In an attempt to ingratiate themselves with the people of Stalwart, the Scarlet Chorus insisted that warning be sent to the towns and villages, so the people may prepare for the horror about to descend on them. This, I think, would stand in line with, I mean, that's sad. We already plundering. Huh. Perhaps the time for ingratiation is done. We gave them their chance, I suppose. Let's just, finish this little... Let's wipe this slate of these assholes. You agree to the disfavored rationale. The leaders of Stalwart had refused honorable battle, and too many disfavored lives were lost in the campaign. Since the last regent refused to leave the keep, you would let him watch as his people suffer. You would let him watch as his people suffered. Without hesitation or regret, you broke the seal of Kairos' Edict of Storms and read the Overlord's incantation. Bye-bye. Oh, okay. The clear skies darkened as you read the final words of the edict. A flurry of wind and rain whipped the rolling plains and craggy canyons, turning rocks, uprooted trees, and hapless soldiers into hazardous shrapnel. Armed with a measure of foresight, you were able to remove yourself from the area before the storms grew more violent. Over time, nearby communities told of cyclones consisting of thousands of soldiers' worth of limbs, spears, armor, and skulls. What's more, the weather showed no sign of dissipating. Ooh. Several units of disfavored who fought the enemy in spite of the advancing storm were caught up in the Overlord's magic. The few survivors regrouped and nursed their wounds. Their failure to topple the Stalwart Legion shamed them into believing the dead more fortunate. The name Stalwart fell from use. People took to calling it the Blade Grave, for the remade landscape festooned with the iron and bronze armaments of two once great legions. As Kairos' forces departed, you spared a glance back at the ruins of Stalwart, marveling at your work. You didn't have long to rest before Tunon called you into service once more. Damn! I created a wasteland. Conquest for complete. You have reached the end of Kairos' conquest. Do you want to continue or raise your progress? We're going to continue with what I did. For better or worse. I don't... for better or worse.
The year is 431, and Kairos' invasion has shattered all major opposition in the tiers. The Younger Realms, the Bastard Tier, the Free Cities. All who defied Kairos lay broken by battle, or bowed in surrender. The two armies of the Overlord, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, now control our lands. But our will is not yet extinguished. Not entirely. In the Valley of Vendrian's Well, those of us unwilling to bow to Kairos have banded together in defiance. Violating an oath of surrender from 2 years prior, we have staged a bloody uprising, murdering the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus garrison in a midnight assault.
Damn. Brother here did not get a very lucky break. Spacebar.
With their main forces spread across the tiers, the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus redeploy to Vendrian's Well to crush the resistance. But months pass with no definitive battle. As disagreement and discord paralyze the Archons, we bide our time and wait for our message of insurrection to spread across the tiers.
Leaving the Queen alive is probably not going to have been a good decision at this point.
The Overlord is not amused.
Not amused?
And Kairos has one message for the Archons. Crush the Oathbreakers or die.
Amen.
Kairos backs this threat with an edict. A magical commandment that can slay all in the valley should the order be ignored. The honor of proclaiming this edict fell to you. Sent across the mountains to Vendrian's Well, you carry the Overlord's edict to read before the Archons.
Okay.
As you finally make your way through the winding mountain passes into the valley, the ground trembles, and Kairos' magic seals the way behind you. You are trapped in Vendrian's Well, with Kairos' armies and the Oathbreakers. The only way to survive is to fulfill the terms of the Overlord's edict, in any way that you can.
Oh boy. Oh, cool. It's bleeding from the eyes. Oh. Major Matola, I presume we've been expecting you. The Sanguine Scroll? What? Aurora. Okay. Oh, hi. Kairos, the Overlord, be praised. When I heard the avalanche, I feared the valley was sealed with you on the other side. The disfavored warrior claps her gauntlet to her breastplate, the traditional salute of her legion. Welcome to Tyranny. If this is your first visit to the world of Tyranny, watch for these windows to help you become familiar with the game. Okay. Right. Continue. No, conversations, right. Involve you other characters and other traditional parties like bystanders or companions who may interject. Choices you make change as the story develops and will build a reputation for your character over time. People in the world will learn of your reputation, good or bad, and respond accordingly. Okay, your character attributes, skills, history, and gender, as well as decisions you made in the conquest, may all open up options for you in the dialogue. These options are not necessarily superior to other responses, but give you a wider variety of choice select from, which I love in RPGs. The manner in which someone responds to your choices depends on their individual personality and attitude. Okay. Each character who speaks to you will display a banner beneath their portraits. These banners indicate which faction the character is allied with. The tooltip on these banners will provide details about how that faction feels about you. Interesting. You will often see the names of important characters and locations displayed in a gold text color. The tooltips in these glossary entries provide you with important information of the world. Okay. Right, so you're with, yeah. Well, okay. Vengeance Well is the name of the central plateau of the Tiers, a mountain-ringed valley of rivers, floodplains, and scattered farmland once ruled by House Vengeance of the realm of Apex. At the heart of the valley is the mountain spire, and at the base of the massive stone structure is an old citadel built centuries ago and largely left unused until recent times. Okay, right, so this is my conquest decision. As an architect of the surrender the realm of Apex, you played a vital role in the military conquest of Vengeance Well. Vengeance Guard, the oldest fighting company in the Apex, reneged on this surrender. Fuck. Okay, first off, an edict. Right, Kairos' most powerful magic is that of the edict, a commandment cast upon whole regions that can control and destroy man and nature alike. Once cast, an edict can rain fire, wither crops, demoralize cities, usher in endless night, or do whatever it is that Kairos envisioned. No known force, magical or mundane, can stop an edict. Jesus Christ, what is this Kairos guy? Fuck, he's powerful. Oh, here we go. Answer. Kairos is a name out of legend. For centuries, the Overlord has consolidated power, sending vast armies to swallow entire realms. The most powerful mystic the world has ever seen, Kairos can issue edicts, magical proclamations that level cities, spread pox, sunder the lands, or change the course of seasons. Okay, well, I bid you a welcome return to Vengeance Well. The altitude is still dizzying and the locals still revolting, doubly so this time around, as they piss on that peace accord you offered them. Edgering Pass is still as you remember it. I was hoping to have the warriors celebrate your return to the proper feast, but I'm told you have places to be. Okay, I can glare silently, or I'm in a hurry to deliver a message to the Archons. I come bearing an edict of Kairos. Our soldiers will complete their task or die. Or can you hear that hum in the air, that glow with the rocks? The avalanche is Kairos' magic. I'll go with this one, because I gave my character a bit of a lower bonus because I wanted him to be smart. Your senses are more than mine, see more than my good fate binder. I do not pretend to know much about such things, but if this was Kairos' magic and you're here on important business, well, you don't have to be the Archon of Secrets to guess that you're here to proclaim an edict. What does Kairos have in store for the enemy? 10 years of festering plague? An edict of twisted bone? it's not for them. Well, not totally. Glare silently. I'm half tempted to say this just to scare the fuck out of them. I'll go ahead. The edict is leveled against us? Her eyes widen with fear, her posture slackens. But the Scarlet Course prevents us from taking action. Why would the Overlord punish both of us? She clears her throat with a sigh. Forgive me. It is not my place to question. We should have conquered the enemy within weeks of arriving in the valley. Yes, true. The delay reflects poorly on all of us. That is exactly the point. If we all follow Kyros's will and stop the insurrection, no harm will come to any of us. Glares I like how that option persists. Two Archons and their armies cannot take a citadel they've taken before. Of course Kyros is displeased, or subterfuge. Your first instinct is to blend the Scarlet Chorus. No wonder Kyros swords to an edict to reinforce order. Yeah, there you go. I mean, yeah, on the one hand, this is reassuring, but this is driving home the point a bit better, I think. Yes, well, her eyes shift aside. There has indeed been little goodwill between our armies, and you are right. When we act as we do, what choice do we have? Do we give the Overlord? She takes a deep breath, nodding as she exhales. And you're right. I should not cast blame so freely, especially not when talking to a servant of justice. My apologies. All is well given, child, so long as you slaughter the people I tell you to. Well, you've traveled a long way. I won't keep you any further. I'm sure the Archons will want to hear from you at... Her voice falls silent. Her attention snapping eastward with alarm. Did you hear that? More runners. Third time this week. The Oathbreakers keep trying to send messengers to the mountains to gather help from outside the valley. She points over to the collapsed path by which you arrived. But they're a bit too late for that now. Come, let's show these Oathbreakers a good fight. Right. In honor of the Vendrian Guard reneging on the surrender of 429, soldiers in both the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus now refer to these tiersmen as Oathbreakers. It is perhaps one of the few points of agreement between the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus. Right, okay, bit of an interruption there. In conversation. So the combat in here actually works. Oh.
I got it.
Do you though? Okay. Tyranny uses a pausable real-time combat system. Because you will often manage more than one character at a time, it's a good idea to pause the game, issue orders, and resume real-time to see the orders play out right, okay. The option menu also contains many choices for automatic pausing when certain conditions are met, sort of combat. Use spacebar to pause and unpause the game, right? Character can always perform basic attacks using their equipped weapon or their fist if fighting unarmed. Characters also have special abilities and spells they can use in combat. When a character is selected, their ability bar displays their hotkeyed abilities. As new abilities and spells are gained, they will automatically enter the ability bar. As your character's abilities, all of your character's abilities and spells can be accessed by selecting the category icon at the bottom of the selected frame. Okay. Abilities are grouped into talent, spells, combo abilities, art abilities, reputation abilities. Okay, yeah, seems pretty. Stances, category icons, weapon sets. Weapon sets. Oh, okay. You can get 4 each, and quick items to follow. To use an ability, left-click on the ability icon or press the hotkey corresponding to this location on the ability bar. Your cursor will change to indicate whether your mouse is over a valid target for the ability. If the cursor has a red X in the corner, you are not over a valid target. If the cursor has a pair of feet in the corner, you will need to move closer to use the ability. For abilities that target party members, healing, spells, buffs, etc., you can click on the party portraits to target the ability on that party member. Okay. All characters in the game, friend and foe, have 5 primary defenses against attacks: parry, dodge, endurance, will, and magic. These defenses are based on the character's attributes, equipped items, and other effects. A character's accuracy is based on their skill with the type of weapon they are wielding. Accuracy is compared to the appropriate defenses when an attack is made. Yeah, okay. It's made to determine how likely the attack will hit. Right. There are 4 possible results from any attack: hit, critical hit, graze, and miss. A critical hit increases your damage, while a graze reduces it. With each attack, you gain experience in the weapon's skills used to make the attack. Even a miss will grant some experience. Okay, right. Let's see, what do I got? Thrust. Sunder. Okay, yeah. Slice. And that's my heal. Ooh. Let's try Slice. I don't know if he's really... Yeah, let's try Slice out. Wait, what? Is that an X? Oh, weird. How about?
Sorry, I can't.
Am I like too close to something? Oh, it was already okay. Can I control you? No. That's one. Let's check further along the path for more. This category is the talents available to your character: leadership, defense, power, agility, range, and magic. With each level, you gain 1 point to purchase a talent from one of these categories. Within the talent tree, each tier of talents unlocks based on how many talent points have been spent within that tree. To learn a talent, click on the save button to confirm your choice. Okay. Each companion has their own talent trees and abilities. The abilities unlocked in the same manner as your characters. Talents. These spend points on the companion talent tree for the tiers of talent available. Okay. We should be vigilant and deal with the remaining Oathbreakers in the pass. The suicide mission. What do the Venturing Guard hope to accomplish? In 200 days now, it's long to reach the Archons. Yeah, I'm kind of curious. From what we've learned with the other prisoners, the runners are instructed to escape the valley and drum up support for the Oathbreakers' cause as one of the tiers. Look at that now. Aurora shrugs. I don't know who they think will listen to their pleas. We've smashed every army, fortress, and self-proclaimed lord these low-born tiers have to offer. Perhaps they think the wild beasts will rally to their sides? Speak. Things, words, talk, goddammit. The savored victory has soaked with tears of fear. I didn't anyone hope this, rather hopeless calls. Perhaps if you had more thoroughly destroyed these tears, we wouldn't be having this current problem. I don't know. You can find, hope even in the most desolate of places sometimes. I'll just carry on for now. A rock slide blocks it at the head. You can screech through a narrow gap between the stones, or you can push one of the boulders out of your way. Where's my... Oh. I grazed him. Ooh. Okay. He's the enemy.
On it.
Ooh, okay, he's bleeding. Cool. What the hell's this? Potions. Figured. Bleh, 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 bleh. Okay. Okay. Oh, hello. Was that a... Wait, what? Did I actually... I guess I did. I don't know. Oh, okay. I can't do anything at all.
Try and catch me, worm.
Verse. A young Scarlet Fury weaves around the Vendrian Guard attackers, avoiding their weapons of fluid gray. She nods to acknowledge you. Sun Soldier. A Bertha's enemy soldier passes a glance to her countryman. This one's crazy. Too much lead in her water. She cut her losses and turn back.
Fate finder. You're here at last. Here to join me in putting these cowards out of their misery.
She nods the armed soldier bearing down her. Yeah, save some for me. For the realm of Apex, charge! The Vendrian Guard level their weapons in advance. Did I already... Resilient and stubborn as the mountains themselves. Since be beat by Kairo's armies. Yeah, okay, well.
Come at me, grave meat.
Okay.
Will do. Will do.
Let's see what falls out of you.
Okay, what do you... okay, right. Burning Iron. 13 to 17 pierce, and fire damage, base 714. Dodge. Launch a burning arrow that sits wasn't fire. That's an arrow attack. So what's this? Oh, it's a combo. First, to knock your target prone. Huh. This is target poison, rot spear. What? Huh.
You got it.
Actually, my... Hey, he's dead anyway.
Phew.
Oh, okay.
I can tell you didn't spend the conquest in a diplomat's tent.
Nope. The fighter surveys the fresh corpses and nods with satisfaction.
Though you did a fair amount of feasting in the second year of the conquest, as I recall. A few of my mates and I caroused with this apex scum thanks to your good faith gesture. A pity this lot won't be around to remember the good old days.
Oh, yeah, that was the... Yeah. Well...
I'm Verse, by the way. But there are more important things to take care of than introductions. Those Vendrian guard we killed didn't come alone.
She gestures to the skirmish unfolding in the pass below, shaking her head. Right, I'm ready for you, war, not so fast for explain what we're doing here. We're attacking now. Why are they? This storm. What's your role in the army? For me to do... Yeah, let's just get right in the action.
Eager. I like that. Before we go, you might search among the remains of our fallen comrades. Wherever they're bound, I doubt they'll miss their boots, much less any rings or any useful iron they might be clutching.
Rings were first introduced by Kairos in the early years of the Northern Conquest. The currency that... Oh, that's money, okay. The currency of the divided realms was of questionable value and easily counterfeit, and rings offered the promise of a shared economy simple enough for anyone to understand. Today, they're the standardized currency across all known lands of Teratus. Right, okay. I see your point, nice and practical.
No reason to pity the fallen. Before long, we might wish we'd joined them here. But at least we'll enjoy heavy pockets and warm toes.
Yeah.
For the voices of Nerat!
Known in his official capacity as the Archon of Secrets, the voice of Nerat is equal parts genius and madman. Rumors abound that he can steal the minds of others, though few, if any, are allowed to confirm as much. The subjects of his interrogation are never heard from again. The Archon was able to recall the memories of his victims with startling accuracy. Okay, right. Had to go take a bit of a break for a second there. Can I do any of my talents actions yet, or do I not have any? Okay, well, number points spent, but okay, requirement level 3. Shield slam, shield mastery, staggering force. Huh. In any case, okay. Let's go. Which way? I guess the enemies is over here. This. Oh, yep, there they are. Tarkios Demos. Tarkis. Eyes forward, no looking back. The Vendrian guard roars to this Falx. I know what a Falx is. Held high, his words are largely lost of the din of combat. You? As his attention lands on you, a double take of recognition comes over the man's face. The peacebinder from the war. If you've come to once again talk peace, it seems you're too late. Yeah, it is too late, actually. There is no escape for Oathbreakers, no surrender. You done fucked up, now you're gonna die. Then we'll settle this with bronze. The warrior points toward you, ordering his men to advance. These fools don't know when to stop. I like that. Charge! As he signals his men to charge, the sound of chanting rises from the south, drawing his attention. Scarlet Chorus and reinforcements. Hurry! Oh, cool. We have help. Run down the Oathbreakers. Let none escape. From the red mob of reinforcements from the south, a blood chanter emerges at the head of the rabble, the ornamental crest of her staff pulsing with crimson tones. Signing sigils of magic and wordlessly moving her mouth, the blood chanter scribes a series of spells into the air. A red glow surrounds the Vendrian god warriors as the chanter's magic worms its way into their minds, blinding them with rage. Neat. Hold position, all of you! You there, keep to the path! The warrior gestures along the canyon trail, but his soldiers turn their attention to the Scarlet Chorus, roaring challenges. No, don't engage them, we need to run! His orders falling on deaf ears, the warrior reluctantly readies his weapon.
I'm not.
Oh, nope, okay. Companions. Versus capable warriors skilled in both melee and ranged combat. As you acquire companions, you will need to balance their strengths against the strengths of the characters, of your character to be successful in combat. While it is possible to adventure alone, you will find the game more rewarding with a well-balanced party. There are now 2 characters in your party and both are selected. Any commands you issue now will affect both party members. To select a single party member, click on their selected circle, their portrait, or press F1 to select the player character, or F2 to select first. Okay. To select multiple party members, click and hold the new on the screen and drag the marquee. Yeah, click and drag, pretty standard. You can either control your new companion directly, or you can enable their AI and have them attack and use their abilities automatically. Once the AI is enabled, you can always select them and tell them to attack a specific enemy or use an ability, and they will follow your orders. If you right-click on the AI button, sorry about that, you can see the AI settings for your party members. You can set the auto-attack behavior of each character, which determines how they attack enemies. For companions, you can also choose AI packages that determine how they will use your abilities in combat. Alright. Verse has several stance abilities that provide her with different benefits in combat. Stances are modal abilities, meaning they can be toggled on and off. Only one stance can be active at a time. When a stance is deactivated, all stance abilities are enter cooldown for a short duration. Okay, right, well. Blood-soaked stone. Oh, right, yeah, okay. Him. Fun.
I'm on it. Tear your skeleton out by your ass.
Kill him, please. Oh. Crescent Runner. Come quick, we have a situation on the cliffside. They have the commander. Oh boy. Right. Can I loot anyone? No? No? Oh. No looting? Weapons and armor are strewn haphazardly on the cart. Every blade shows signs. Oh, yeah.
Can't do that.
Yeah, apparently not. Okay, then. Come on.
Will do.
Anything else in here I can interact with or not? So far, it doesn't seem to be. Oh boy. Blood Fountain. Pelox Tyrell. Stow your weapons while we find out how long a man screams before hitting the ravine down below. Cornered between a precipitous drop and a band of angry soldiers, the Oathbreaker warrior holds a disfavored officer at knife point. Drastus. Skewer him! Worry not for me, grave and ash will protect. The disfavored officer winces, blood seeping from the seams of his braces and cuirass. Mocking Blaze. You heard the man. He plainly invited you to use that little blade of yours. What are you waiting for? Permission from your pimp? Ooh. This blade? With a jerk of the knife, he slices off a clump of Drastus' matted hair. If you're so eager to see your ally dead, just step closer. Okay, let's see. Athletics. Slow your weapon and then charge forward and wrest the knife from him. Ooh. Release the prisoner. You might know the inside of a cell. I'm Juramadhol. My name should be known to you, and it should be an honorable one. Please, give me the knife. No. They've already fucked up. Yeah, let's see how this athletics one goes. You've gained favor with Scarlet Chorus, gave her disfavored, and gained 69 athletic skill experience. Youthbreaker cracks a wide smile as you lower your weapon. That's right, and the rest of you drop those weapons. With his attention on the other warriors, you dash forward. He reaches out with his dagger to slay Drasus, but your hand is already on his wrist. With a wrenching twist, you mangle his hand, dropping the dagger harmlessly to the ground. The disfavored warriors rush forward from either side of you. Tyrell barely manages a strained gasp before being hacked and impaled upon their swords and spears. Okay. Kairos be praised. That Oathbreaker fought with the rage of Cairn himself. Cairn being the mountain's Archon of Stone, accompanied the disfavor on the conquest of all the tiers. His temper and proclivity toward destructive solutions often branded him a liability to the otherwise orderly takeover, but his powers were not easily dismissed. As your campaign, Cairn went on a rampage, declaring himself independent of Kairos and okay. Drastus slides a trembling hand on the cut in his neck. Thank you, Fatebinder. I thought today was my last. From the look of it, guess they thought if they swarmed the pass, maybe one might take it out. We found a few. Wait, one might take. Oh yeah, we found a few scraps of parchment in their bodies. Drastus holds out a handful of crumpled parchment for your inspection. Literacy is rare in the Northern Empire, where the disfavored are born and trained. Time spent reading and writing is, after all, time not spent sparring and reading one's body and mind for readying one's mind and body for battle. A student of letters such as yourself should be able to make sense of this. You have no time, all that training and graven action to teach you to read. No, let's just look at the parchment. Repeating the same messages in different written scripts, the parchment explained the Vendrian guards decided to overthrow Kairos' Archons and rout their armies from the tiers. The pages aren't addressed to any specific reader, but rather openly invites all who remain loyal to the Younger Realms to gather at Vendrian's Wall. The realms of Azure, Apex, Stalwart, and Haven are collectively known as the Younger Realms, and together they represent the major political factions of the tiers. For centuries, the Younger Realms have battled among themselves for control of the tiers, which, with every realm having been at war with each other at some point in their memorable history. Yeah, God damn it. Okay. Recruitment material. They were trying to bring more traders to the fight. Yeah. Well, from the look of it, we kept them from slipping out of the valley. Whatever they hoped to accomplish, I think their plan died here. Well, part of it anyway. The Archons are expecting you. When you're ready, leave by the gate to the southeast and follow the trails down the slope for a few hours. You'll see campfires leagues away. Can't miss it. Right. Aiken has loot. Honor Guard's Bronze Fox. Two-handed weapon. Ooh. 14 to 19 / Pierce space. Parry. Oh. Back off. Right. Can I? No, that's not it. It's this. Weapon sets. Right. There we go. Yee. Neat. The hell's this though? Sun Soldier's Javelin. Oh, it's a javelin. Right. Well, cool. I got a fancy new weapon out of that. I think I'll go ahead and end this episode here. I've done the conquest and a little tutorial bit here for combat, so probably a good place to end it. And I'll continue. Oh, the Archon demands all prisoners to be given a chance at the chorus. True. Okay, yeah, in any case, these lying horse spawn had their chance long ago. I say kill them. Can I interact with this in any way? Doesn't seem to... Oh, loot. Wait, no. Take stuff. Take things. A gate. Less deflection, less engagement defense, but more armor. Crushed corrode armor. I'll just take it for now. Whatever. Okay, yeah. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed. This game so far has been pretty entertaining, and it looks like it's very promising overall. But I'll see you in the next episode. It's something I do. Another episode, which I kind of want to. Yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you then.